Hi, I'm Graham. In this video, I'm going to be telling you what overtones are, what they do for your sound and tone quality, and how to practice them. Different instruments have different levels. Different instruments have different amounts of overtones in their sound, and this is what causes individual instruments like clarinet and saxophone to have their own unique timbre. We play these overtones by fingering a lower note, which we would call the fundamental, and then aiming for the overtones above that note by changing our armature and our airspeed. When you're pressing the octave key on your saxophone, what it's doing is it's venting a small amount of air at the front of your tube, and what that does is it immediately jumps from the fundamental to the first overtone, which just happens to be an octave. As we develop the ability to hear more of these individual overtones, those overtones will begin to become more prevalent in our sound. And the presence of an increasing number of audible overtones adds a richness or a color to your tone, which effectively makes it bigger, since you're taking up more space on the frequency spectrum. Once you've learned to make these overtones a part of your saxophone sound, then you can always use your ears and your armature to add or remove your desired balance of upper and lower overtones, thereby giving you a brighter or darker tone quality, or whatever you want depending on your tastes. Now we're going to learn how to start using overtones. So, I want you to start off playing a long, low B flat, just a nice long note. Try to get a really nice open tone quality. Next, what I want you to do is play your B flat in the staff. You can also sing that note so you truly get a sense for what that pitch is and what it sounds like. I'm so tone deaf. So what I want you to do now is finger your middle B flat and play it as normal. Just hold out a nice open, even, long tone. And then what I want you to do is in the middle of that, quickly as you can, change your fingering to your low B flat fingering. So still holding that note, like keeping that air support going, I want you to just quickly change to your lower fingering and see if you can hold that note. Now this might be hard at first, and it takes a lot of practice to get good at. You need to keep playing long tones for your low B flat and your middle B flat, and just keep using that technique to practice switching between those two notes until you feel like you can do that naturally. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like once you get it, then that's all it takes. It's just you have to find the right position. I don't know, kind of something like that. New day, new shirt, new do. Yeah, let's get right back into it. Now let's talk about technique, how you're supposed to do this and make it sound good. So, first of all, what I want you to do is sing a lower note, and then sing that same note an octave up. And while you're doing that, I want you to see how your throat changes in order for you to produce that different note. Now, that's similar to what we do on the saxophone. So, we have to change the way our throat is shaped in order to produce these different overtones. When you're doing this, you might feel that other tones are creeping in, but what you want to do is you want to try to make that transition as seamless as possible. So, keep practicing that every day, be consistent until you feel like you can switch between one and the other without much trouble. So there are many ways that you could try to force out these overtones without doing them correctly. You could bite the reed, you could move your jaw, you could close off your throat, and all of these are simply bad technique. You don't want to be practicing these. You want to avoid them. You want to learn how to do these overtones the right way. And in the long run, that helps you progress much more effectively and help you get a better grasp of these overtones. Once you feel like you can comfortably play both overtones, you want to see if you can play the next one. So, in our case, since B flat is the fundamental, we're going to be trying to aim for an F in the staff. So, like before, we're going to finger an F and we're going to play a nice long tone. Get comfortable with that sound. See what your throat is doing, how you're playing that. And then we can also sing that note so we get a better understanding of that pitch and really internalize that note. And once we've done that, we can then proceed to play that note and then quickly switch your fingering to low B flat like we did before and just try to maintain that note. Just keep doing that along with practicing switching between the fundamental and the second overtone and see if you can truly master all three of those. Make sure that you can picture the note you're aiming for in your head and hit it before you move on to the next overtone. And eventually we're just going to keep progressing like this and slowly learn to play overtones higher and higher, maintaining good technique. The important thing is to practice this. It might sound terrible. It might be hard. It might be difficult to do. It might be frustrating. But it's important to work on this every day, or at least whenever you practice. Just make sure you're consistently putting in at least, let's say, 5 minutes a day, so you can slowly work to improve your sound, and then it will get better. Overtone exercises are really easy just to work into your warm-ups, and they're a good way to warm up, I guess. Now, there's a good reason to learn how to play these overtones. We might see that our tone quality improves over time, as well as these overtones. Also, it's probably going to be a lot easier to hit altissimo and all those high notes that are above the staff or aren't usually what you're able to hit by your general instrument's fingerings. In general, overtones are really useful to know. They might be hard to learn, and it takes a lot of time, and sometimes it might be weeks before you see yourself making any progress, but they're really useful to know. Your tone quality will improve. Altissimo is going to be easier. All these things come together, but you gotta start putting the work in to learn these overtones. After watching this video, maybe you could do your own research or look up some more overtones. Like, there's a lot of mathematics, and it's really interesting how these overtones relate to nature and sound waves and how frequencies work. But thank you for listening to me. This has been my first video. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully you learned a lot about overtones, and maybe I'll make another one. Who knows? Well, thank you.